And welcome in to game one of the New Brunswick Finals here in High Button Sports 506 Rivals. It's the Western Flames who hail out of Fredericton and the Moncton Rockets who had finished first in the standings and look to continue here in this best of 5 game series. The winner will represent New Brunswick in the Atlantics. There's a quick first whistle. So face off. We'll go just outside the blue line where it's won by the Rockets on defense. Moving up, Fitzpatrick had tried to send that one up to Ward. Body check up against the boards. That one was on Feltmate as it now gets rotated to the other side. Polchis, that one hitting a player in the bench. So now, face-off's going to go into the zone of the Western Flames where Austin Yeomans is the starting goaltender. There's a quick shot right off the draw that's turned away by the pad, and it'll be shot all the way down the ice. Delayed icing. This one's just going to miss the net of Redmond as it's picked up by Bourgeois over for Chanel Cormier. Annabelle Danielle. Never a doubt from anyone in the league getting Rookie of the Year. Leading the entire league in points, being an underager. As she finds it up here, then we'll poke it softly to the middle. Walking in, McFadden hesitates, drops it Danielle. The shot turned away by Yeomans. A great first chance for the Rockets. Also no going across Boutillier from the line. Another one that's rejected by Yeomans. Danielle move that one in behind the net. Battling for it there and regathering is McFadden. Poke checked as it's taken up by Dooland. Dooland, who finished 10th in rookie scoring, turns it over, walks up Danielle, tries to make a nice move where she's upended with ease as it goes to Alcino along the wall. Caught back on defense. Moving her way up. Colpitts around the net. Hits the brakes in the corner. Colpitts up high, blue line, walking in. There's a shot. I believe that was the Browns University commit, Audrey Poirier from the line. Gathers it again. Poirier stepping in on her backhand. Looks to shoelace that one out in the crease, and no one's there to bang it home. Battling for it in the corner. Daigle pinning it up against the wall. A part of the second team All-Stars this season. The only player from the Flames to do so. Fitzpatrick into the zone. This one sent high off the glass. It's where it's regathered behind by Nelson around the net. At the line, Poirier winds up. And a save right to the chest of Yeomans. And as we take a look at our final standings, we have 1 versus 8. In this game, the Rockets going an impeccable 34-4-2 to finish with 70 points on top of the standings. And the Flames finishing 8th, 10-27-3. The 3 teams from New Brunswick battling it out. There's a quick shot from the line that hit up against the glass. Chanel Cormier looking to keep it in. She's battling out in the corner. Chanel Cormier still digging in through traffic. Has some pressure in behind from Johnstone as this one goes around the net. Daigle chasing in the corner. Poke check. Has a nice little toe drag to get that one out into center. Walking across Chanel Cormier. That one just out of the reach. Which will clear it in. It's caught back by Daigle. Audrey Daigle up the wall. It's redirected into the center. Out of nowhere came Boutillier from the bench and tried a toe drag that didn't quite work to perfection. Across, it's Richard to the middle. Boutillier, the drop. Here's Ward skating in through traffic. Gathered up. Richard, the shot that goes over the net. Almost came back off the glass. As the Flames try to recover. It's right at the blue line. It's flipped high. We'll go back to center. Skating back for the Rockets. Rink wide. It's tried to hit Ward out of her reach as it's now skated back by Boursier. Claire Boursier will drop it off. The captain It's Folks trying to send that one up the line. Alcino almost held off her body. That'll be shot back in. Bourchier on to chase. Waterhouse accompanying her. Bourchier across. Flipped on the board to the center. Poirier across. Over for Fitzpatrick. Left up McFadden. Trying to dance her way to the middle. Danielle had it poked off. At the line again. Working across. Poirier hits the brakes. Looks for safety in her backhand. Sauce just ends up outside. Here's Danielle. Or that's Radier, excuse me, recovering. Danielle back to Radier. Radier skating in. Had some disruption there from Dooland as it's going to be recovered off the wall. Fitzpatrick, the shot off a skate. Now high off the glass. Caught in by Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick and Cook battling up against the boards. In there as well as Nelson. Taken back in the center. Nice move shown off there from the rookie McKinley Dooland as she'll shoot this one onto Redmond. Regathered in the corner. Shot up against the wall. Going to be redirected. Pluld trying to find it in her feet as it's cleared back by the Flames. 5 minutes gone through this first period. Still no goals thus far. Poirier up high. Fitzpatrick trying to cut it to the middle. Almost hit Fitzpatrick, but got up by Sommers. Poirier across. Again, the one-touch pass. They've been using that strategy effectively so far in the first 5 minutes. I've seen it at least 3 times, whether in the offensive or defensive zone. Poirier recovering again. Here's Pluld trying a little windmill D. Gets turned over. The turnaround shot that's saved by Redmond. Addison Sommers with the quick turnaround. Again, a valiant attempt to put it on net. And for some people watching at home, they've seen this movie before. The last 2 years, it has been these two teams in the final with the battle for New Brunswick. Last year, the Moncton Rockets took it by a series of 3-0, but 2 years ago, it was the Flames that won it in 5. Here's a turnover, offensive zone. Walking in, there's the shot that's turned away by the pad of Yeomans as it's flipped up against the boards and caught in at the blue line. A nice little chip play to hold it in. It's now found in the corner. Feltmate rooming that one around. Caught in by Smith. Her attempt to get it out is again blocked at the line. Some good work by the Rockets to hold it. Here's Richard walking in to hold it. This one sent behind the net for Ward. Ward going on to chase as she's angled out into the boards. Somehow recovering out of the battle. Here's Ward walking the pass from behind. No looker. Almost got it perfectly at Richard. Chanel Cormier at the line. More one-touch passes walking in. There's the shot. Another save by Austin Yeomans. Peppered so far in the crease. Chanel Cormier, the shot towards the net, will redirect in behind. There's a wraparound attempt in the slot. Chanel Cormier walking in from the line. Another try by Richard, and they can't quite bury it home. Colpitts to the line. Bourgeois working her way down. Here's Ward in behind the cage. Working her way around, and the quick little no-looker again did not go her way. This one's flipped into the zone. Both teams now getting some chances to get some players changed up. In the middle, it's redirected, delayed icing, rolling pocket. Looks like we'll just not get there, as what a race it was. Zoe Savoie turning on the Jets and beat out McFadden. Able to hold it, send it to some open ice. Here's Danielle. Won't try any fancy moves. We'll dump it in. Richard trying to get it up to the line. Alcino. One-timer Boutillier sent wide. The rebound bounced right back in front like a spring off the end boards, where it is smothered by Yeomans. A great heads-up play to know that puck was coming back. And in the case that there's only 3 New Brunswick teams, the Moncton Rockets had a bye in round 1. Here's a quick shot from the blue line, caught by Yeomans and then sent down, recovered by Boursier as she lays it from behind. It's regathered by Lawrence. Up high for Arsenault. She holds it in as it finally gets out of the zone. So as previously said earlier, 3 teams in New Brunswick. The Rockets had a bye round 1. It was the Flames and Kraken that duked it out. Flames took that series by a score of 3-2. They were down 2-1 and then came back to win the last two on home ice. Here's some battling in the far corner, recovered by the Rockets. They curl it out in the offensive corner. That was Colpitts. Fitzpatrick at the line, the pad save, the rebound, they jam away at it. It's loose in the blue paint, and somehow Yeomans finds it through traffic in order to smother that one up. And somehow this game still remains scoreless. Although absolute domination by the Rockets is another try that's turned away by the pad. Fitzpatrick will launch one towards the net where it's redirected at the side. Audrey Daigle again in the corner. Trying to find this one right at the goal line behind the net. It's still recovered somehow. Rockets hold possession. Fitzpatrick the shot towards the net. Looking for a redirection from Colpitts as this one's flipped along the line. Here's Pluld. Will touch up for a hand pass, I believe we're calling. The head-to-head between these two teams. The last game the Rockets played at home was here at the Avenir Center, where they took a 3-2 victory home against these very same Western Flames. Late January, they took a 6-0 win on the road and a 7-3 win in Bucktouche. So the Rockets do have the season series 3-0 as Feltmate will clear it in here on Redmond. In the defensive corner, a little flip to the middle for Ward. Ward leading, waiting, collision at the blue line. Here's Ward still continuing in behind. Where she was upended, there was a three-person collision right at the blue line as Ward had gathered that one in. Ward, little one-touch pass from Colmier to Alcino. Going up, redirected by Richard, and will go in behind the net. Here's Daigle. Along the boards, try to get it over to Somers as a pass, picked off right in the middle. Great hand-eye coordination by, I believe, that's Radier to pick that one off as the Rockets rotate at the line. Boutillier, Alcino in the corner. Alcino out in front off the stick of Yeomans. And to be found out by Somers, will redirect it into the middle. Boutillier up against the wall. Danielle into the zone. Again, a flip out back to Alcino. Alcino across Boutillier. Boutillier, Alcino waiting right in the middle. Delays as she enters the zone. What a pass to get that one across. Walking in, there's the shot. That's blocked. And that one really stung Daigle, putting the body on the line. There's a drive from the blue line. Another block. And this time it's Johnstone sacrificing her body. Boutillier going down up against the wall. Alcino waiting up high at the blue line. Danielle, the turnaround shot that's turned away by Yeomans. And what a sequence of events as there's some Flames that need some changes. That's Johnstone and Daigle getting in the way, paying the price. But ever so appreciated by Austin Yeomans in the cage. Fitzpatrick, bit of a turnover here as Doolin will walk in. Sent in behind the net. Or it's still continued around the boards. Bourchier unable to corral that one as it's back for Waterhouse. Waterhouse, the little turnaround backhand pass over for Lawrence is intercepted by Fitzpatrick as she goes to Boutillier. Then up high over to Pluld. Into the zone, left behind. Bourchier sent around. Polchis trying to corral it in her feet. Still in her feet, but manages to move it out into center. Paving her way through traffic is Poirier. Look at this. She walks in, curls across, then the shot will redirect in behind the net, find its way to the near boards. Flip up by Savoie. Tried to get that one over to Richal as the Flames regather. Flipped high, almost a too many players penalty. Less than 8 to go. Here's Chanel Cormier regathering in her own zone. Sent to the middle. Almost taken away there by Smith as it's gone back for Bourgeois. Bourgeois to Cormier. going up high as it's redirected off the skate of Ward, and this may be an icing, and it will be. Just under 7.5. And what a game we've had ourselves so far. No shortage of action here on High Bun Sports. And this is game 1 of the New Brunswick final. The winner will participate in the Atlantics being hosted at the Simon Sports Center. There's an offside going against the Flames. And what better place to host game 1 than the newly built Avenir Center, the home of the Moncton Wildcats, who currently are in second place in the Quebec Maritime Junior Hockey League, looking to get into first. Here's Comier hitting the brakes, circling back and shooting that one into the zone. It was Radier going on a chase, as no icing will be called. Picked up Bourgeois. She'll drop it off. Chanel Comier waiting in behind the net. Looks up for Danielle. That pass picked off by Lawrence. Here's Lawrence spinning and curling. Tied up by Comier. Great defensive play. Little bit of a scare for the Rockets as McFadden brings it in. McFadden around Dooland. Still stick handling as she got to the middle before it's recouped and brought the other way by Dooland. On the near boards, Dooland again. Stepping into the zone. Here's McKinley. Dooland waiting and shooting. Sent wide the rebound. Right up to the side of the net of Redmond before being swept away. Lawrence Alcino around the boards. Looking across as it's shot back in behind. Alcino finds her way into the corner. Pressure from Lawrence. Around the boards again as it finds its way to Boutillier. Boutillier up against the boards. There was a flame that was changing, and that's too many players. An unfortunate bounce, but that's going to send the Rockets to the power play. A miscommunication on the line change. And regardless of the score in this game, game 2 goes tomorrow afternoon, 2:30 at the Grant Harvey. And game 3 will be next Saturday, 7 days, at the Greenfoot Energy Fourplex at Rink D. At the blue line, setting it up. Poitier waits, fires, got a deflection, but Yeomans again is able to make the save, and it's down the ice. And it's McKinley Dooland that is serving the penalty at this moment for the Flames. Drop passes they into the zone. Walking in, Ward, the shot from far off the blocker of Yeomans. To the line, Ward, soft dish off, Poitier. Poitier, Danielle. Poitier again. Poitier stepping in, waits and fires. That's off the leg of, I believe that's Folks, getting right in the way. Danielle, Poirier, waits, delays. Scans her options. Folks giving a bump up by Danielle. Waits and shoots. And that one somehow redirected out of the net. Back to the line. Working her way back in. Poitier had tried to spring that one across. Regathered by Ward again. Lauren Ward cutting wide. Pressure here. There's the shot. Saved by Yeomans. A big slash in front. As Richard's down in front. And stuff almost getting a bit chippy. As you can just feel in the arena that it's playoff time. More specifically, the finals. Bourgeois, Boutillier, the soft dish off. Opposite side with some room. The shot, they score! And the too many players penalty will cost them Tia McFadden to the top shelf. Make it her first of the playoffs. The included 12 in the regular season. She was nominated to the Rookie All-Star team in the MMGHL. Alcino moving it back. Bossier throwing that one up. Shot back by the Flames right in the middle. And offside as it's touched up at the blue line. And just a good heads-up play from Tia McFadden, seeing she had all tons of room to step in and snipe to the top shelf with surgical precision, making it 1-0 at 4:21, with the assist going to be given to Lola Boutillier. As she gets her first point of the playoffs, she led all defensemen in points this year, amassing a solid 43 points in 40 games. Here's Alcino up through the neutral zone. We'll send it in along the forehand. It's pinned by Kimball in behind the net. Sweeping by is Danielle, looking to regather, losing control of her stick. Kimball down on the ground. Flipped up into center. Fitzpatrick back on it for the Rockets. Fitzpatrick, the pass redirected off the stick. Great forechecking there from Sommers as it's going in behind the net. Alcino behind Pelod, the pass. Taken back by Feltmate and cleared into the zone. Bourgeois waits in behind the net. Taken down. Sommers again. Great forecheck. Keeping this one in the zone. Plenty of plays so far from Addison Sommers. An absolute unit on the forecheck for the Flames. The Rockets bring it in. Working back the backhander from Richard right through the crease. She had looked for a deflection. Up top, Colmier. She's going to try. And that one redirected by Dangle and sent into the corner. Up top, Cormier again will redo it. Shot towards the net. Another redirection by Dangle. She'll pick it up and gain some speed. Audrey Dangle attempted clear and didn't go as planned. Chanel Cormier now curling back in her own zone. Into some open ice now. Poitier hits the brakes. Across for Cormier. Cormier showing off the edges. And the pass off the boards is intercepted by Feltmate. Poitier spinning in her own zone. Shaking off Polchis. She gets that pass off. Working some open ice. Danielle. Back to Boutillier. Across for Alcino. Alcino through center. Up high, walking in. The drop pass attempt. That one didn't go. Polchis might have a break. Claire Polchis through center. Getting towards the end of a shift and couldn't corral the puck. And here's Danielle with the steal. Danielle working her way up. What a move, but couldn't quite hold on to possession as she's poked off by one of two Western Flame defensemen. Stepping up from the line. Alain off the skate of Danielle and put wide. Boursier recovering along the boards. Stopped there by Cook. Alain across Boutillier. Boutillier going up the wall. Will flip this one into the zone. First one on it behind the net's Waterhouse. Having some pressure. Boursier almost turning it over. Waiting right there was Danielle. What a move to move that one into the zone. There's the shot. They score! The Rockets showing off some forechecking of their own. As the breakout attempt from the Flames doesn't go. Lily Plord top shelf. So Plord gets her first of the playoffs. And Melody Cormier with one of the assists as it's retracked back for Fitzpatrick. Up for Plourde, the latest goal scorer. As she holds the line again. Look at Plourde going down low in the corner. Pass a 10th back out in front. And almost a perfect give and go displayed on the forecheck. At the line, shot through traffic. It's redirected just wide to make that one Plourde from McFadden and Cormier. That's McFadden's second point of the night. In the corner, trying to weave her way in front was Cormier. This one caught at the line. Poitier working her way down, trying to find open ice. Drop pass, what a move, the shot. And that was Plourde that couldn't quite get a handle on it, almost getting her second of the period as the buzzer goes. So make it 2-0 after the first period. If you're just tuning in, those two goals in the last 5 minutes at 4:21. McFadden from Boutillier on the power play. And at 52 seconds, Plourde from McFadden and Melody Cormier. We invite you back for the second period here. Game 1 of the New Brunswick Finals. Winner will represent the province of New Brunswick in Atlantics. And this is Maritime Major Girls Hockey here in High Bun Sports. Brayden Lane from the Avenir. 2-0 after period 1. And we get back for period 2 action here in High Bun Sports. It's Brayden Lane from the Avenir Center in downtown Moncton, home of the Wildcats. The Rockets are up 2-0. And have just played an absolute dominant first period. They look to continue that. And the Western Flames, they look to flip the script here in period 2. And they do say 2-0 is the worst lead in hockey. Flames look to prove that. Here's Anand with the shot that just goes wide left. Up to the blue line, it's Fitzpatrick. Holding, trying to go down low. It gets flipped up high. Sent back to the line. Fitzpatrick holding again in a battle there with Cook as they both go into the boards where it squirts out of the middle. Here's Polcheese trying to work her way through. Caught down in the corner. Stop just along the hash marks behind the net. Fitzpatrick looking across. Up for Alain. Through center. Flipped up. Knocked down out of midair by Daigle. She gets that one up over to Poitier. Loose puck right at the blue line. Zoe Alain to the middle. Caught up in a pair of skates. Here's Ward moving in. Backhander. Saved by Yeomans. And the rebound just out of the crease will be sent up to the blue line. Bourgeois working up in the middle. Down to the blue line over to Bourgeois. Bourgeois to the middle. Working in. McFadden. Steps. Stops. Curls. Still has it. McFadden across. Walking in. The shot is redirected up and out of the protective netting. And showing off some fancy moves there was Tia McFadden. Had stepped in along the blue line. Managed to shimmy off a Flame defender and see a defenseman wide open on the other side. Along the boards, trying to force her way out. Here's Dooland. It gets out past center into the zone of the Moncton Rockets. Chanel Cormier stopping, curling back. Going to safety behind her net. Goes over to Bourgeois. Bourgeois trying to go up to McFadden. This one stopped in by Nelson and will be cleared. Stopped in behind the net. Chanel Cormier around for Bourgeois. Bourgeois waiting. The little flip through center. Danielle couldn't get a hold of it. Here's Radier. Radier walking in. What a pass to go to the back door. And had gone through the legs of a Flame, but McFadden could not quite corral it and get the stick on it. Here's Waterhouse up against the board. Stop. Bourgeois will put it towards the net. That one blocked by a defender. Bouncing puck. McFadden far side to the middle. The shot turned away by Yeomans again. Stood on her head the first half of this game and continues to do so as Boursier is going to ice this one. So Flames, who really need changes, are unable to do so. And again, for those just tuning in, the goals in our first period, McFadden from Boutillier at 4:21, Plurd from McFadden, and Cormier at 51. Tia McFadden a goal and an assist so far. She's been in the spotlight thus far. And have a bit of a delay. We have a conversation between the official and the Rockets bench. And now it looks like we're all set to go. It's going to be Colpitts in the draw for the Rockets. Unsuccessful in winning that one. Here's Daigle behind the net. Off the boards. Going to chase Eason. Back behind for Waterhouse. Daigle. Waiting. Going up against the board. Shouldn't get that to Sommers. She's been in the spotlight so far for her forechecking abilities as this one's down for Redmond. All on the board. Sommers again. Spoke it into existence. Sommers with a great forechecking effort to keep it in the zone momentarily. And there's a collision right up against the boards. It was Sommers that fell down. And that looked most definitely accidental. Boutillier in the middle. Shot in by the forehand of Cook. Chasing is Eason. Cook walking in. Around to the opposite end. Here's Polcheese. Trying to work her way down in front of the net. Cormier. Working up past the blue line. The Rockets enter the zone. Just past the blue line it'll go. Behind the net. Waiting, stealing, trying for a wraparound. Not getting possession there was Colpitts as she gets it back to the line. Playing a bit of catch with Fitzpatrick. Here's Ward. Pressure. Incoming from Polchis at the line. Fitzpatrick going down. Ward can't quite get a hold of it as she was tied up with Folks. Along the boards, right in the center. Poitier, Ward. Waiting, trying to traverse center. She was poke-checked. Here's Poitier with a nice move to barely corral it on her backhand. Browns University D1 commit, skating up. Little drop pass to the line. Here's Ward. Lets one go just wide of the net. Fitzpatrick at the line will clear it in as she'll stop it and lay a body check in the process. And Fitzpatrick's going to get penalized for this. So it'll be 2 minutes for body contact for number 5 of the Rockets. So 2-minute power play coming up for the Flames. This would be a huge kill as Boutillier gets caught up in the linesman. Regathered back Richard. Her intended clear didn't work, and this time she'll get it. Stopped in by Yeomans behind the net. Boursier in the corner. Waiting, faking, going around the net. Here's Boursier slowing the play down before getting it up to the right wing. Cutting across diagonally with speed in the middle was Lawrence before moving it in for Bourgeois. Bourgeois across Boutillier with some room will clear it. It's stopped by Boursier right at center. She's poked, could be a break. Walking in shorthanded. Richard, the shot is turned away by Yeomans. And again, what great positioning by 31 in white. Austin Yeomans always finding a way to get perfectly into position. Even with a sudden breakaway like that where Marissa Richard had the puck poked up to her. Here at the line, Boutillier off the faceoff win. They start up shorthanded. Going in around the net is Feltmate. For Daigle now. Stumbling up against the boards for a second. And here, what great penalty killing. Annabelle Danielle, she's been on the penalty kill all year. And right there just shows why, able to kill a solid 10 seconds. Just from the forecheck stepping in. Here's Polchis. Got poke check McFadden turning and spinning as it's redirected by Danielle and out into the center. Feltmate waiting for her teammates to get on side. It's now sent around the net for Boutillier, excuse me. And all the way down the ice it'll go, and this might count as a shot on net, and it will. So that's another save from Yeomans. Racking up the save percentage so far in this game. Bit of a collision between two Rockets. There's Poirier catching that one out of midair and dropping it down. What a toe drag to get into the zone. Poirier now back towards her own end. And again, what great penalty killing. Just 10 seconds left on the Abby Fitzpatrick body checking call. Backhanded by Smith off a body. It's found in some open ice. Curling up with speed is Chanel Cormier. Stepping in on her backhand around the net. Waiting, gets bumped. Back for Ward. Ward going up high. Alain Cormier across. Open ice. Poitier stepping in. What a juke. Poitier in with the shot. It's blocked. And Cormier couldn't quite hold it in. Or she just does. As it initially went in through her feet. Sommers. Up towards the boards. Back towards the middle. A nice poke check in the middle by Nelson as it's backhanded up by Smith. Skating down with speed is Dooland. Dooland into the boards. Meanwhile, it's rinned around to the near side over for Cormier. Melody Cormier across for Alain. Alain stepping in, has some room, fakes again. This one goes dangerously close to the net from Nelson. But tried to steer it away. Walking up, the little saucer from Johnstone. Moving that one up, Fitzpatrick, leaving it in behind. Flip up. Caught down. As moving up here, here's Colpitts. What a move. Colpitts in, and she's hooked and taken down. And that's going to cause a penalty that'll send the Rockets to the power play again. They're 1 for 1 so far this game. And let's see if they'll repeat it. Quickly cleared down the length of the ice. Starting it off hot for the Flames. And behind the net, Danielle Poirier, the one-touch pass right to the tape of Ward. As she walks in, she's turned away, and it's shot out into the neutral zone by Waterhouse. She gave a little bit of a punch to Ward as she was leaving the zone. At the line, Danielle moving in into some open ice. Ward will be able to hold it in right at the corner. Poirier, one-touch pass, Danielle, back for Poirier. Backhander in no man's land. It's caught at some feet. Poirier trying to corral it. Backhander, and Ward couldn't knock that one down. Lauren Ward regathering for the Rockets. Up for Danielle. Danielle with speed. Hits the tape perfectly of Boutillier. She enters the zone. Boutillier across. Another perfect pass. Working in, and it's outside the zone. Lola Boutillier regathering after a great penalty-killing effort by Kate Cook. Cook again will force it deeper into the zone. Here's McFadden working in. McFadden 2 points already. Waits, delays, stops, goes up. Boutillier waits. First pass didn't work. Here's McFadden again, sending it to the back door. And Bourgeois was waiting but didn't have much of an angle. Boutillier, 20 seconds left. One-timer pad save by Yeomans. A big blast from Bourgeois. Bourgeois again, waiting, firing. Another nice save by Yeomans. She's been absolutely insane so far. Boutillier across. And we have a Flame out of the box. Alain. Down in the zone, around the net. Zoe Alain still with it. Near boards, cutting closer to the middle. Wrapping around the zone. And trying to pass it down low. Got it back to her stick off a foot. And the Flames try to regather. Poked out. Could be a potential rush, but great defense. Dooland almost catching a break. Daglin behind the net. Waiting, she has tons of pressure, had to get it off quickly, and it's turned over. Alcino at the line, the shot off a couple twigs. As the Flames have been looking for a high stick. Rimmed along the boards. Alcino trying to hold it to the middle, and it's redirected outside. We are halfway through this game. Still remains 2-0 Rockets. And look at that speed coming out of the zone from Boutillier. Still in, working across. Shot redirected just wide. Plod in the corner. She has the latest goal. And it's rimmed up and sent outside. Working in, Poirier. The little flip in the center. Plod still trying to force her way down. Deeper into the offensive zone. Plod cutting out in front. There's the quick shot. Another try. That went off a shin pad. And the Flames defense, they are finally able to get it out as it slowly rolls down towards the opposite end. No icing gives a perfect chance, an optimal chance rather, for some changes. Waterhouse unable to corral. And this time it's an icing against the Flames. So luckily able to make some changes quickly beforehand. So face-off will go to Yeoman's left. Tie up from her knees. Almost able to get it outside the zone. I believe it was Doolin. There's a shot from the blue line. The save and the rebound still in the blue paint before it's whistled down. So Yeoman still doing more work. She has been absolutely peppered thus far. Pulchy's almost getting the outlet pass as it's sent down back to the zone for the Rockets. Alcino sent across right at the line. The little backhand out from Folks. Alcino having to skate down into the zone. Pinning her target up against the boards. Almost squirting loose right to the middle. Forced corralled by Boutillier. Flipped off the board, the delayed icing, and this one looks to get there. Rockets bench and fans didn't like it. But all the way down to the opposite end, it'll go. Now to Redmond's left. Won by the Rockets, up against the boards. It's pinned right on the near side, and a bit of rough stuff still going on. This one flipped in to the Flames bench, excuse me. Off the boards right at center. Almost caught up. It's shot down behind that of Redmond. Stopped in and around up against the boards. Cleared back down around the net. Boutillier will pick it up. It's a little flip. Almost tying up. Regathered by Doolin down in the corner. Doolin doing some work. Pushing and shoving. Doolin again to the middle. Up to the line. Waiting. Little no-look behind the back pass. That'll work. Here's Doolin stepping in. Doolin, the shot towards the net was blocked. Walking in a big blast from the line. That's redirected by Rodier. Bourgeois trying to get that one up against the wall. Regathered back in the possession of Leanne Bourgeois. A perfect tape-to-tape pass as Ward steps into the zone. Ward poke-checked as now it's Lawrence that gets this out. Doolin, a little one-on-one. Will take the safe pick and dump it in. Go for a change. Flames have been needing those. Here's Poirier. Escaping through the zone. Passed up. McFadden is in just offside. No goals so far in this second period. And you're watching Game 1 of the New Brunswick Finals here in High Button Sports. Winner will represent the Atlantic Sitz-Braden Lane from the Avenir, where the Rockets currently hold a 2-0 lead, and where they've gotten their 2 goals, both coming in period 1. Here are the Flames exiting their zone with speed. Polchi stepping up. Trying to move it down, but the Rockets will not surrender anything. It's right at the blue line where it's turned over. Open ice pass, that one in between the feet of Polchis. Anna stepping in. Dropped off. Poitier curling towards the blue line. Walks the line, the little backhand flip across D to D. Put to the net, redirection to the side of the net. Taken back up against the wall. Shot. Save and swept out of harm's way. Although it had looked like Yeomans was about to cover it. But another close call as Polchis is angled out against the boards. Poitier skating in behind the net. Audrey Poitier, attempted stretch pass, almost hits that, but it'll end up being an icing charged against the Rockets. And tons of action coming up. And currently live on High Button Sports. The Weeks and the Max currently in their playoff series. There's a shot to save the rebound. They score! Right along the draw. Make it McKinley Dooland, who steps in, right place, right time. 10th in the lead of rookie points. 9 goals, 11 assists on the year. Make it her first of the finals. And now we only have ourselves a 1-goal game getting down to the final period, final stages of the second. Boutillier, a little one-touch pass. Got that one behind Plur. This one not going to go for icing. And behind the net, Rockets look to respond in a big way. Trying not to give the Flames anything in this game. It's poked right outside the blue line. Fitzpatrick recovers. Boutillier offers skate. Still in the zone. All the way down the ice. This one not going to go for an icing before it's picked up by the Flames defense. Around the boards, taken there by Polchis along the glass. Caught in by Ward. Ward at the line. Attempted pass redirected by Cook. Richal in behind the net. Right up top for Polchis. Thrown through center. Bourgeois near boards. Will circle that one up. Plil trying to walk in. She was poked off. Her attempted clear is fanned on. And that gives the Flames a chance to clear the zone. Flipped out by Polchis as it's going to go in behind the net. Rockets recover, trying to clear. Here's Lawrence, almost able to hold it in. Danielle trying to get it in past Kimball. But Kimball has other plans. Little pass attempt over for Dooland. It's backhanded down opposite end of the ice. Delayed icing with speed coming up is Radier, and she won't beat it out. Kimball gets there first. .321 left in the second period. Rockets up by a score of 2-1. Face off to the right of Redmond. Chanel Cormier around the boards. Danielle, a perfect redirection in between her legs for McFadden up for Radier. Radier working in around the net, looking out in front, no one there. Little poke check from Danielle. And it's now caught up by the Flames. Danielle, what a pass, walking in, McFadden, Radier, and they couldn't quite get the play off. That one would have ended up on some sort of highlight reel. Here's a pass, blue line, Poitier stepping in with the shot. A good save by Yeomans as Poitier holds this at the line. Poitier walking across, far boards now, Poitier left out in front. Danielle wasn't able to get to that one as the Radier goes hard into the boards. This one held in at the line. Working down, Boutillier waits, fires over the net and into the netting. And Yeoman's clearly needing a break under serious pressure. Out of the zone it goes now. Stopped in the neutral ice. Off the boards. Back for the Flames defense. Shot out through center. Working its way all the way down. This one might go for icing, and it just will. Not by very much. So that last goal, 4:59. It's Doolan from Feltmate and Nelson. each of them getting on the board with a point in the finals. In some feet right off the draw. Flip up towards the boards. Colpitts able to hold it in as now it's Boursier. Boursier across off the boards to be intercepted by Waterhouse. Flipped up against the wall by Pulches. Will turn it over to Fitzpatrick. Her pass picked off. Walking in, there's the shot, and Redmond gets that one in the chest. Another offensive zone draw for the Flames. As it's in behind the net. Poitier up for Alain. Poke check there momentarily. Doolin trying to step in. It's Alain that regathers before sending this one up to Richard. Richard working in. What great defensive play from Feltmate. Still tied up with Richard. Ward in behind the net. Working out, stick out of the hand of Feltmate. Ward again, the shot caught down by Yeomans. Getting down to the last minute in period 2. These two teams still within one goal. There's a quick shot that's redirected and sent behind the net from the save. Fakes the wraparound. Up top, there's a quick shot from Poitier that went off a shin pad. Redirected up against the boards, and that puck will end up in the bench. Flames in off the draw. Down behind their own net. Boursier. Up against the boards. It's pinned right at the hash marks. Far side. Rockets offensive zone. Here they win it out of the draw. Sharp angle shot. That was blocked. Danielle. Poitier at the line. Faking to the middle. Continuing across. Watched by Cook. Dropped off. Cook again will be able to get it. Outstanding play, Kate Cook, able to play some stellar defense as time ticks down, getting less than 10 seconds. Up high, Cook, Danielle in her feet, unable to get it right at the line. We'll throw it into some open ice, and that will end our second period. The Flames get back to within one, making this another low-scoring affair as it trends right now. That only goal at 4:59. McKinley Dooland from Feltmate and Nelson. And that's your score after the second period. Stick along for the third here on High Button Sports. That's Brandon Lane from the Avenir. Your score, 2-1 Rockets after 2 in Game 1 of the MMGHL New Brunswick Final. we are. It's the third and final period, unless overtime. The Rockets lead the Flames 2-1. This is game one of a best-of-5 series between the Western Flames and the Moncton Rockets here in High Button Sports. Game 2 goes tomorrow at the Grant Harvey in Fredericton, and Game 3 is next Saturday, 5:30 at Rink D of the Greenfoot Energy Fourplex. As we wait patiently to start, over in the Nova Scotia capital, the Halifax Max there up 2-0 on the Weeks Majors as they get close to the end of the first period in their playoff series. There's the finals in U18 AAA. But here we go as we focus on this game. Both goaltenders ready. Yeoman's playing close to the hash marks to start off this period. And here we are with the puck dropped. Loose to some traffic, picked up in neutral ice. Here's Poitier. Will flip this one in, a high fly ball into the zone. Regathered by Feltmate. She goes D to D across, where it's flipped up just towards the blue line. A bit of a fight for it as it's cleared in by Folks, and this one might go for icing, and it will. So back into the zone of the Flames, tie up right off the draw, and that one squirts out through traffic and will find its way back out to center. Loose, flipped up, glove down, no hand passes. It's touched by Polchis. Back for the Rockets defense. Poitier up for Daniel. Daniel has some room, 2-on-1. Daniel steps in, shoots, scores! And who else but number 20 in red, Annabelle Danielle, is inevitable as she makes this 3-1 in favor of the Rockets in the first minute of the third. Make that her first to the playoffs. As she walked in one-on-one, didn't hesitate for a second and sniped the top right corner. And the hash marks to the blue line. McFadden waiting, makes a nice move around Lawrence, but just loses the puck. Getting it back, pinned, looking out towards the blue line. Across, Bourgeois is going to let one go. That one went off a body, didn't make it anywhere near the net. Again, a Flame clearly experiencing some pain. Chanel Cormier, the shot, it's redirected, but tracked well by Yeomans in the goal. Bourgeois at the line, has a bit of time, waits and shoots. That one's off the end boards. Boursier are on the wall. Cormier digging with Lawrence. That one's outside the zone as it gets past McFadden all the way down into the zone of the Rockets. Chasing for it, stopping him behind the net. Allison, oh, poked right out in the slot. What great forechecking again. And guess who that is? It's Addison Sommers again. Countless times this game coming back into the forecheck and creating some chances. And how the Flames, they might try to set something up and get some offensive zone possession. As Kimball stopping Bluld. Down and around the net for Chanel Cormier. Stopping to evade Johnstone. This one's thrown up against the boards. Near side. Moving back, Kimball will throw this one across. Bluld will step in offside. In the offensive zone, Kolpich trying to go to the net. Alcino trying to stop this one in. Here's Cook moving in. Cook Bounced off the side of the net. Now in a jam around the net. They still dig for it as it's Alcino that brings it out on her backhand. Sent around for Boutillier. Up to the middle. Didn't hit as it's now down in the corner. Melody Comier. Moved around to the near board. Stopped. Trying to get possession here. Going down low. Looks to be Lola Boutillier. Sent back by the Flames. Fitzpatrick stops. Gets it poked off. Fitzpatrick still tying up a target. That's a great play from Fitzpatrick. Able to defend well without taking a penalty, as that's an icing against the Flames. And it looks like we're going to have a timeout, or they're going to bring this one to center. And my best guess is that had Redmond not gone in behind the net to play it, I believe this would have been called icing. Down in the zone, Waterhouse around the boards for Smith. Stopped in at the far boards. Waterhouse turns. Lead pass up to Smith, who's hit along the boards. Shot from the line from Gaumier. Stopped in by Boursier. Boursier throwing that one out. It's redirected. Does this one have enough? The linesman going to say no. Or potentially hit a stick along the way. Dropped off and behind. Here's Ward. Picking up, getting around Lawrence. And behind the net, Fitzpatrick. Throwing that one up. It's redirected by Radier, so no icing, but stopped by the Flames defense. Fitzpatrick going to get this one again. Throw this one up, where it's backhanded by McFadden and into the zone. Into the corner. It's sent out. McFadden, the pass out in front. And almost causing a bit of commotion as Boursier now sends this one into the corner. There's a bit of a bump applied. Then McFadden pins up the defenseman. McFadden turns. Taken by Danielle now. Danielle, the line. Chanel Cormier waiting. Runs into some traffic. And Lawrence will angle her out perfectly into the boards. Back in behind the net. Boursier. Poke checked by McFadden. As the Flames look to get outside their zone. 5 minutes expired so far in the third. Rockets walk in, sharp angle, trying to go across, and McFadden was tied up. A great job there by Lawrence, tying up Tia McFadden as Lawrence battles for it here. Delayed icing, and it looks like this one will go as Bourgeois, the first one back. Alcino across Boutillier. Boutillier down around the net. Plod amassing that one behind the net. There's a puck battle for. There was Eason going ham at a rocket behind the net. Lawrence up through center. Intercepted by Boutillier. Boutillier moving it back. Alcino waits. Chucks that one off a stick of a flame. And it's back for Boutillier. Boutillier stretches up for Plod. Plod will dump that one in. She's the first one in the corner. Plod, the backhander, No one there as Colpitts tried to get free but couldn't. Here's Boutillier cutting through traffic. She's taken down. Got triple teamed. There's a shot that's blocked by Feltmate. Another one towards the net. In the crease. Loose. There's out of nowhere. Lauren Ward walking in. Trying to get a shot on that had just gone off the outside of the post. Shot back through center. Poitier. Trying to cut it up through center. She's pressured along the penalty box. And down the ice it is for icing against the Flames. Another offensive zone draw for the Rockets. It's one. Here's Ward cutting around the net. Stopped on her backhand. Looks to the blue line. Fakes and goes down around the net. Picked up out in front. The pass from Anna will end up outside the zone. Here's Poitier up for Richal. Richal going down. Intercepted by Kimball. Kimball sent for Dooland. Stopped. Here's Poitier down deep in the zone. Had tried to go out in front. Fitzpatrick overskates it. Chance for the Flames potentially back the other way. A nice move by Dooland, but it's caught up in some feet. Delayed offside. Two Rockets collide, but this will give them a chance to regroup a little bit. Here's Poitier going up for Ward. Ward fires that one onto Yeoman, and she'll play that out to the middle. Puck race for it. It goes around Dooland. That pass off a skate behind the net. They still forecheck it to Richal going up to Chanel Comier, and that one skips above her stick and will end up all the way back down to the Rockets' end. Bourgeois, first one on it. She'll rim this one with pace around the boards. Out of the reach of Boutillier. Danielle also there. McFadden searching for it. Tied up in the feet of Lawrence. Chanel Comier moving through as she's dumped by Dooland. Right in the middle, working up. McFadden stepping in, far side. The drop to the blue and the one-timer. Rebound, Danielle tried to corral it within her feet. That one needing to have really quick reactions. Could not react to it quick enough. Potential 2-on-1 as Lawrence on D sent that one up. Nelson down low, walking it along the boards is Boursier. Boutillier hits the brakes. Right on her tail is Lawrence, as well as Boursier now as she captures that one in just above the hash marks. Boursier waits, fires through traffic, turned away by the blocker of Redmond. Dooland off the pad of Redmond again, as this one ends up behind the net. Getting close to the midway mark, Boursier into the zone. Boutillier showing off some nice loose puck D, not once but twice, and the third time now, as Boutillier still continues, realizing her team needs some changes, she'll dump that one in. It's found in the corner. Waiting at the hash marks, it goes up to Fitzpatrick, shot through traffic. There's a floater off the pad of Yeomans. That one tough to see through traffic. Around the net it'll go, Waterhouse. Going up, couldn't hit the target. It's back for Poitier. Fitzpatrick into some neutral ice. And a bit of a mix-up on who was going to get it. Now set for Poitier. Poitier working up. Gets poke-checked. As now Polchi is able to get that one and stretch up. And collisions right along the Rockets bench. And this one sent into the sector between the benches as Cook tries to fish it out. And there it is. So in a 2-goal game, Rockets are up 3-1 here in game one. Game 2 tomorrow night. Game 3 next Saturday. Game 4 and 5 if necessary. Will go on later dates. But here stepping up. Shot into the zone. Rockets regroup. Working in. Richard right in the middle. The shot is off of shin pad. We have a penalty for a hook. And could this be Audrey Daigle in front? No, this is going to be Rachel Folks, I believe, that heads to the box for a hook. So Rockets power play for the next 2 minutes. They get a huge 3-goal lead here. If a goal is scored, that's a good start for the Flames. Penalty kill. That is now down behind the net. Poitier. The lead pass for Danielle. Danielle stepping in with speed, cutting wide. Annabelle Danielle waiting up high. Ward waits, delays, tries to go back door with the saucer pass. It redirects off the boards, up for Danielle. Danielle, the drop for Richard. Marissa Richard out in front. That one's off a skate. Regathered again. Ward up high, waits and fires. That's off a shin pad and kept in barely by Poirier. She'll barely be able to keep it in again. And there's Nelson that'll find the puck in open ice and hammer that one down 200 feet. Poirier up for Richard. Richard skating in, drops it back. Here's the shot, and Yeomans gloves that one down, snatches that one up with just 57 seconds that remain on the penalty to Rachel Folks. To tie up in the corner. It's brought up the line by McFadden. Walking is Boutillier. The drop, McFadden waits, delays, gets around, and curls back towards the line. Boutillier. Boutillier back to McFadden. This time going across and couldn't quite hit the blade of Bourgeois. Up for Boutillier. Boutillier waits, walks. Looks behind the net. Boutillier on the backhand. Still with it. Showing off the stick handling up for McFadden now. McFadden cutting towards the net. Pressure by Cook. One-timer. Bourgeois. How did that one stay out? What a save. Down the ice it'll go. Less than 10 seconds left on the Rockets power play. That's going to cap it off. A good penalty kill for the Flames, and they needed it when it mattered most. Here's Folks out of the box and a tie-up with McFadden. Folks regathers. Her clearance is blocked. That's sent to the far boards. Backhanded up McFadden. Her clearing attempt is blocked. And then the pass across out of the reach of two Flames. It was Boutillier. Back to the middle for Kimball. Daigle put this one into some open ice. McFadden up for Plourde. Plourde stepping in with the shot. That went off the mask of Yeoman's, caught down right in the high slot. And again, another scare for the Flames, but Yeoman's able to stand tall again. Here's a sharp angle going to the back door. Savoie waiting right there, but she couldn't quite bury it. Through a couple legs. Found it neutral ice. Rockets back with it along the boards. Plourde out of the reach. Regathered back. Here's Nelson. Stepping in the corner. Regathered back behind the cage. It's intercepted by Lawrence. Here's Lawrence, the little flip. Lawrence to the net. The backhander just misses. Head coming on a sharp angle. Redmond, excellent positioning. But here comes the Rockets' potential 2-on-1, stepping in. And there's a couple bumps given to, I believe that's Plourde, who was already struggling to keep possession on a bouncing puck. Moving wide, it's Cormier. Up for Cormier. Richard. Over, across, one-timer from the line. That blast didn't go. Another try from Poitier. Fakes the backhand, goes up to the line. Comier back for Poitier. Out in front. Another backhand try. Richard sent that one wide. Here's Ward. Stopping. Throwing that out in front right at the side of the net. As we've come down now to just 5 minutes to go in the third. At the line, Bourgeois, the one-timer, getting through. It's right in the crease. And smothered by Yeomans for another whistle. And the Flames call a timeout. We'll take a quick timeout here on High Button Sports. It's Braden Lane from the Avenir Center. Rockets are in the lead 3-1 in Game 1 of the New Brunswick GHL Final on High Button Sports. Back after a quick 30 seconds, less than 5 to go. Rockets up 3-1 at the line. Bourgeois lets one go, and it's blocked. Tons of blocks from the Flames so far. And that one's Lawrence getting her body in the way. Against the boards from Folks, tried to get that to Daigle. Bunch of puck whacking towards the blue line of the Rockets before it's cleared in. Just behind the net of Redmond. One touch pass perfectly executed to the middle as the Rockets break out. Could be a break. Walking in all alone. Here's the shot turned away. Austin Yeomans, another great effort. Keeping her team in the game. Rockets at the line. Shot through traffic. It's blocked. Taken by Cook now. Kate Cook. Poke checked. In some feet. For it's up for Savoie. Savoie trying to burst in. Has 3 Flames on her. Still manages to get into the zone. Before it's cleared back for Poirier. Poirier, she cuts back. Throws it across for Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick off a leg. Almost gotten back. Puck going back and forth. Waterhouse across to the opposite defense. Could be a stretch pass. Almost touched up. I believe this will still be icing, or no, they're going to call this one off. It's rimmed around the boards. Stopped and put to the blue line. Boursier trying to move her way through. Yeomans now on the bench. It's an empty net with 3.5 left. The Flames going all out. It's a 6-on-5. Cook pressuring down in the corner. Taken out behind the net, Savoie. Stopped by Boursier. This one gets outside. Walking in, empty net. Move to the middle. Alain couldn't quite get it back as it's Nelson that recovers. She throws it up the wall. No one there. So they ice it with an empty net. So we're going to have to see Yeomans come back on the ice. As she stands in the tunnel. I can't see them not putting the goalie back. Yeoman's still not moving from the tunnel. And there they go. Now they got her back. So 5-on-5 for right now. But they're going to pull Yeomans whenever they get the chance to as they win the draw. Folks around the boards. A nice breakout pass. Cook trying to spin and control. Alcino moved across. Far side. Stopping, making a nice move down in the corner. Believe that's Pilod. Still in the corner. Flipped up towards the blue line and outside the zone it'll go. Yeomans creeps out of her net. But it's the Rockets that recover. They make a quick move back. Ward. Near boards. Here's Lawrence. Trying to make her way through. Chanel Cormier spinning back, turning it over. Here's Lawrence. Dumping it in deep. Caught by Redmond. And Yeomans is already 3/4 of the way to the bench. Just over 2 minutes to go now. We're going to have an empty net, or Yeomans is going to go back in the net. This is why they make goalies skate in practice. So Yeomans starts out at the hash marks, hoping her team wins the draw, and they do. There she goes to the bench. They're going to try to pull the goaltender again. Stopped and cleared by Danielle. Back for Boursier. Ruddy intercepts the pass. It's a bouncing puck right at the Flames' blue line. Sends an open ice for Dooland. Dooland stepping in, cutting to the middle, trying a shot. Another try after the initial attempt was fanned on as 3 players go crashing into the boards. Dooland drops. Feltmate waits and fires off the skate of McFadden. Backhanded towards the net by Folks. It's loose in the blue paint. They jab at it. Pulchy's in there. No one able to get it. It squares out towards the blue line. A diving Rocket pokes it away. There's another try from the line. What a defensive effort. Annabelle Danielle diving onto her stomach. Here's Dooland again going up to the line. Walking another try from Daigle that was blocked. The Flames try this one again. A shot by Feltme. Redmond the save, the rebound, they score! Couldn't quite get the rebound. And the Rockets not happy that the whistle had not gone earlier. Addison Sommers scores for the Flames, but she has just had an incredible game. And Bourgeois is heading for the tunnel. She's heading for the puck that it appears that she must have shot down on the opposite end of the ice. So now make it a 1-goal game in the last minute. Flipped up through traffic. Skating up, Alain working her way in. Body's falling, so it's recovered here by Daigle. In the middle, recovered by Alain. Stopped and across Nelson. Back to her D. Less than a minute to go. And Yeomans looks to get out of the net once more. Plurd falling on Lawrence. As it's going to be dumped in here by the Flames. Yeomans still waits for the call to the bench. Rockets recover. Up against the boards. It's a stretch pass. Tipped by Daigle, so icing will be negated last 30 seconds. They work their way out near boards with speed. Daigle will jam this one along the glass. Worked in. Poitier around the boards. Just out of the zone and tipped up into the bench. 12 seconds to go in the third. Flames trying for one last push. And what a game it has been, getting down to the last 12 seconds to watch here at the Avenir Center. It's had the intensity of a QMJHL matchup. Rockets win the draw. Here's Poirier sending this one through the zone, tipped by Ward. Walking along the boards, and it's dumped by Boursier, caught by Redmond. She'll leave it out, and we have a whistle. with .7 to go on the clock. So some magic gonna need to happen. But otherwise, the Rockets will take game 1 of the series in a best of 5. Game to be held tomorrow. The Flames trying to get changes. They have 7 players on the ice. And the timekeeper wanting the attention of the ref, so the puck was finally dropped. We'll see if there's anything to do with the clock. There's going to be exactly 1 second left now. And off the draw, it's done. So the Rockets take game 1 of the series. They lead 1-0. Game 2 goes tomorrow in Fredericton at the Grant Harvey. To make that your final score here on High Button Sports, the Flames, they threaten late, coming up just short, make the 2 goals. Dooland from Feltmate and Nelson, and Summers from Feltmate. And those are your 2 goals in the third period. We thank you for watching here on High Button Sports. It's Brandon Lane signing off from the Avenir of Game 1 of the MMGHL Finals.